Labor MPs have lined up to lash former Prime Minister Paul Keating after his scathing attack on the AUKUS deal. Live to Trudy McIntosh in Canberra. Trudy, what's been the reaction to that fiery appearance?
Well, Pete, Paul Keating, the talk of the town this morning after that excoriating attack not only on the AUKUS deal, which he says is the worst in all history, but also his Labor colleagues taking a particular aim at Foreign Minister Penny Wong and Defence Minister Richard Marles. He calls them seriously unwise as ministers, and he alleges that they've been captured by the United States and the intel community here. Paul Keating has long been a critic of this AUKUS nuclear-powered submarine deal and more broadly the approach being taken by both sides of politics here in Canberra. He challenges the consensus here that China's military build-up in our region necessitates these sort of actions by Australian governments. In terms of his views, though, they certainly aren't shared by his Labor colleagues currently. We've seen a number of Labor MPs willing to speak out publicly and say that Mr Keating's views reflect not the current times that we live in, but rather the time in which he was Prime Minister in the 1990s. Richard Marles, though, not willing to bite back publicly last night.
Well, whatever Paul Keating says about myself, the Foreign Minister, the Prime Minister, you won't hear a bad word from us about him.
He's playing the woman in this case rather than the ball, which I think is poor politics. It gets you a good pithy one-liner and some headlines, but it doesn't address the substance.
He's entitled to have his point of view. China has every right to rise, but they're not the China of the 1990s.
And there will be more reaction on that throughout the course of the morning and the day. Meanwhile, Trudy, away from AUKUS, the AUKUS fight, a big warning today about a looming gas shortage.
Yeah, the energy market operator known as AEMO sounding the alarm this morning. It's released new forecasts warning that the demand for gas on the East Coast is likely to outstrip the supply, and that could happen as early as this winter, particularly on extremely cold days. AEMO also has its sights on these big Queensland LNG exporters. It warns that the government may be forced to step in and scrap export contracts within the next 3 years to ensure we do actually have enough gas to keep the lights on. AEMO points to two big factors that have been driving this. One is the fact that the Bass Strait gas supply, which we use for the domestic market, has been declining. And also there's a project at Port Kembla due to get online next year to bring gas into the East Coast, but that has now been delayed as well. So big structural factors at play here, but this will be, Pete, a reason that will restart the fight about the need to actually get more gas into the East Coast.
Sure will. Trudy McIntosh, thank you.